The July meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can we have the roll call, please?
Tom Duffy.
Here.
Stacy Hessel. I see she's online.
Okay.
John Righeimer.
Stacy Hessel's here.
Thanks. Brian Bissonette.
Here.
Chris Rusk.
Here.
Okay, let's stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So now is the time for certificate of compliance.
This meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 Wisconsin statutes.
Okay, then the meeting agenda has been set. Anybody have any additions or corrections to the agenda? I guess I'd like to suggest that on broadband, we move that to the end of the agenda because Andy's not going to be here till later. Anybody have any objection to that?
Do you need a motion to move that or?
I don't think so. We just, yeah. So, okay, now is the time for public comments. Let's start with Linda. Do you want to speak first?
I'd like to speak under agenda item number 17. Would you take that? Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments they want to make at this time? Not quite down.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late.
Good. Okay, let's send the minutes for the previous meeting. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? Thank you, Chris.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No. Okay, it's approved. So then we'll move on to Surrey County Housing Authority. Anybody here to speak on? Did we have any reports on housing?
No, I think we just left it on since we had that update last
Yeah,
month.
okay. Then the Surrey County Agricultural Fair. Anybody here on the fair? Stacy, do you know anything about the fair?
Just that it'll be next month in August. It's the second week of August.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we'll move on to 11, which is the Wisconsin Extension Department.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I think Kevin came last month and gave you his update of all he's doing with agriculture. So usually this is our quarterly report time that we prepare a really pretty quarterly report for you. However, we weren't able to get our new support staff acclimated to everything and time ran out. So I did do a quick poll of information from our data system, and that's what's in front of you. And I'll make sure I give put hard copies in Stacy and Brian's mailboxes too. And so I'll just point out a couple things from that. Most of the information on the second quarter 2022 report is information that I just pulled from other people that are serving Sawyer County besides the educators that you pay for. So I'll just highlight a couple things under the agriculture. That's a state specialist that's doing that spring mini clinic. Under the human development relationships, there's an educator out of Ashland that's doing the work with the for justice and with the jails right now. And so I have highlighted that program in the past about exactly what it is, but that story time with family members that they're given some books and some education about how to read to kids and kind of that literacy. So you can read a little bit more about that under that human development relationship section. The 3-hour online class for parents, that's when people are going through a divorce and need a required course with parenting. And so that work comes out of the Barron and Washburn County educators. Under the natural resources, that work is coming out of the Washburn office as well. And then the positive youth development, even the second page with the big 4-H emblem on it is what Donna wrote up for you, a little bit more information than just those little bullet points on the report. So you can see there that her time right now is spent doing camps and lots of camps. And so actually even today, it starts this week. So she's over in at Trails End in Rusk County. Rusk and Sawyer traditionally have shared their youth camps at the same time. So they're over there right now. So she has overnight camps this week, and then she also has additional 2-day camps that are scheduled for next week. So all things summer means camp for 4-H right now. And so those are the highlights for her, as well as a little bit of a note about the Discover Wisconsin trip that was offered a few weeks ago, actually. And so it was to expose youth to areas of Wisconsin outside of our 5 counties. So they took a trip to UW Green Bay. And there's a special Project Einstein over there with a lot of STEM projects and challenges. You can see too, they stopped at the zoo, did a high rope and zip line adventure, went to, I think, the Menominee Nation's Cultural Museum. So that was a 2-day trip over to Green Bay that our youth were involved with too. So those are the other things that are happening. And then I provided just the flyers for the programming that Ariga does. She will be here in person next month to report. She's actually over in Menominee this morning for the next 2 days with a tribal leadership workshop that they're working on there too. So you can see, I know we've talked about grant writing a few times, so you can see the grant writing course offered on July 21st, and then through LCO, more grant writing, intro to grant writing and advanced grant writing classes that are offered there. So for partnership with the college there. So those are the highlights for you with what Extension has been up to over the past few months.
How much enthusiasm do you have for the grant program?
I think last week when I talked to Ariga on Thursday, there were only a few people signed up for that first class, just the workshop. And so she was saying she needed at least 5 in order to really feel like she could do a workshop. So and it's just that lunch hour one that she was checking on registration for. So hopefully some people sign up this week for it, so it can happen.
Can we ask Andy to kind of jumpstart that if we can? Hopefully the departments should take advantage of it.
Yeah. The people that are signed up, they're Sawyer County.
I don't know about
Oh,
this
you
time
don't.
around.
Oh, okay. Could be from anything
It could
within the
be,
region. Okay.
yep, could be from anywhere. And I think this one is a virtual one. The one with LCO is a little different, but the lunchtime one is a virtual one. So it could be, anyone in the area or really across the state, I guess. Traditionally, there have been more from Sawyer County.
I know Andy was gonna, does he know grant writing? I know we've talked about it. Like you said, maybe just.
I think one of the concerns is that with the staff already short-handed, how they're gonna add another duty to not only write the grant, but then monitor it is.
Yeah.
We talked about consultants too, didn't we? About
Yeah,
writing
these two
grants.
ladies are shaking their head, yeah. There's a lot of work to
But I know that
research and
the
monitor.
LCO has been very successful. with
Right,
their grant
yeah,
program.
I say we go to that one.
More grant
No
writers.
Yeah, and the Brookie has too, so I know there's grants out there. So, well.
I
maybe
think he was
Andy can-
looking at possibly partnering with someone to be a grant writer.
Okay. Maybe we can talk about that next month. How about the farmer's market? Any update on that?
Riga's gonna have to tell you more next month, I think. Sorry, I don't.
They've had
have
some
any
huge crowds there.
updates. Yeah.
Oh,
I
it
think
seems
it's
to be
going
growing
well.
by the month.
Yeah, it does. So well, that's good news. Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, if not, we go on to what's next? The Hayward Lakes, Sherry.
Lynn, would you be able to pull up haywardlakes.com? I didn't do a report because we finally launched our new website, and I just thought if I could have a few minutes just to show you. So the main reason we did the redesign was because it's so mobile friendly, and we have probably 64% of people who are looking at our website on their mobile device. So it's clean, it's a lot cleaner, it's simple, it gets you right to what you want to know. People aren't really going there to take their time. They want to get in there, you want to get their information and get out. So this is the main page. If you go up to the top, if you go to stay, if you hit the first one, stay, So we just have a few things, like if you're looking for price, if you're looking if they're open in the winter, if you're looking for pet friendly is the biggest. A lot of people love to travel with their pets and not everybody offers that. So you just hit that and then it'll sort your places that have pets. And then you can just, you kind of hover over the telephone number, you'll just call directly. It's under Flat Creek, it'll just go right to their number. You can call from your phone. You can also get a lot more information. So if you wanted to go into one of these, you could hit more info and it'll take you to their site, give you some pictures, give the 360 view, call in and give directions. So,
Very cool.
yeah, and we did the 360s for everybody, and we're working on the membership spotlights. We don't have them all done yet because we were only doing one a week, so we can only get 50 done in a year, 52. So, so if you go back up to the top. Or maybe- Then, so if we go to eat, go where you can eat, you know, same kind of thing. It gives you like fish fry, that seems to be really popular. So you can click on that and then you can see who offers a fish fry, who's open in the winter. It's real nice, interactive. Now it changes, every time it refreshes, it puts somebody else at the top. So it's not alphabetical. It doesn't always have the same person at the top. So we give everybody kind of a, you know, even.
So it's like a rotator.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, and it's, yeah, we're really, really proud of it. So in trails, we have a trails button. See that green button up there? Because that is the other very important thing that people are coming and looking at. So we go over to the right, there's trails. And we have all different trails, and then you can click right in where you can order the maps, or you can click into, yeah, if you click ATV, we can look around with that. And here you can view the map, you can order the map, or you can see the trail conditions.
Can I ask a question? Sherry, the way that you set this up is based on the surveys that you did.
Yes.
This
Yes.
looks so nice. and
We're really, really
clean.
happy. It took us, over a year. But.
It always does.
It's nice when the plan comes
It always
together.
does.
So, yeah, and I don't know, we have an outdoor report that we have updated weekly, and that he does everything. If you click on that first one from last week or from the 4th, it's a huge report, but it tells you anything you're doing outdoors. Plus, then he does all the fishing too. So it'll tell you walleye fishing, northern fishing, if you keep going down. Steve Suman, and he works very hard on this every week. And then he'll put calendar events in there, like if it's, turkey fishing, whatever, or turkey hunting or fishing, not together. So,
So we have a new sport.
yeah, so he's really, really good at that. And so anyway, we're just super proud of it. The other thing that I wanted to show you, if you go into blogs, because I've been kind of bragging about this for the last year, is you have to go to the bottom of you have to go to the footer. So under blogs, there you go. And then if you remember all those, I've been talking about all those adventures we've been paying people to come and do, influencers. We do have our own influencers here in Sawyer County, but people really like to see,
Their influence.
they like to see somebody who doesn't live here, who comes in, experiences it and says it from their point of view. So anyway, so we're really proud of those. So you can click on those and it'll tell you your adventure on Main Street is one of them that we have. So, and we have 20 of those. So yeah, that kind of gives people a chance to look and see what somebody who's visiting would experience. And then we also have regular blogs. So yeah, we're really, really proud of it. I don't know if there's anything else.
What about the calendar of events?
Calendar events, yes, that should be at the top there. Events. There's just a lot going on. So we have kind of the big things that people are looking for quickly, you know, like they want to know Berkey, boom, they can find Berkey. You scroll down a little bit, you can get the whole calendar of events. And then it says, yeah, and that's huge. And now we just have to do it this way. So if you pick a day, if you pick a day, it'll just show you everything. Like if you pick today, it'll just show you everything that's happening. And it highlights yellow today's date. And then it'll expand.
Do you and the chamber share events?
Yes, we only input it once. It goes, we have both have the same calendar. So we save, yeah, we don't duplicate that. Yes. That's the other reason we have to do this Google Calendar, because then we both, it goes into, once instead of twice. So I don't know if you guys have any questions, but that's kind of it. Right now, we do have a cover contest going on. So if you have a picture you'd like to submit for the cover for the 2023 vacation guide, we welcome that. $500 to the winner. So that goes to August 31st.
I assume your read on the summer is busy?
It has been very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we've been hearing.
Yeah.
That's what we've been seeing.
No, that's good. Okay, good, thank you, Sherry. Anybody else
Sure.
have any questions? Stacy or Brian? No? Okay, let's move on then to Northwest Regional Planning. Have you heard from Sheldon at all?
No, I think he's.
Okay, how about economic development? Any report? Okay, we go to the libraries. Molly, you're on.
Okay, I want to introduce my assistant director, Ann Larson. And because, as I said earlier, she's the heir apparent, this embarrasses her, but I'm getting up there. So I wanted to introduce you to her, and she's going to give a report about everything she's been up to, specifically to do with summer reading, and then a few things on the side as well.
Oh, me, I thought you were gonna do something. All right. Just FYI for everyone, the Friends of the Library Used Book Room is going strong. It's open Monday through Saturday when the library's open, and purchases are made on the honor system. And a lot of visitors tend to like it because they want to just take a book, and if it falls in the river, you don't have to worry about it. Also, the meeting room is available. It's being booked left and right. We also have 2 small study rooms and are available for 1 to 3 people at a time. And we're asking people to schedule to use the meeting rooms and study rooms to make sure one's available. I think last week we had around everywhere that day to accommodate visitors who were doing their work, especially last week, where I think with the 4th of July. Summer reading is in full swing. There's still time for everyone to join, ages 0 to 100 plus, so welcome you to join. Upon sign up, you even get a free ticket to Jack Link's aquarium and Jack Link's activity in the aquatic center. So for 1 free day. The adult programming is now getting into gear. One of the things you can do is we've got a community read and the book is The Death and Life of the Great Lakes. We're having a discussion on August 1st at the library. We also had given out tiny art show kits, 3x3 or 4x4, along with the paint and paintbrush, and we're having an art show of people who return them. So come on into the library, you can see the artwork. I mean, they're gorgeous. So
Adults are entering into this too. They are really surprisingly.
Oh, I know. Tomorrow, if anyone's interested in about paddling on Lake Superior, we're having Sanyaya Shanning, apologize if I messed that name up. She did a kayaking trip around Lake Superior. I actually had her scheduled, I believe, for April of 2020. So
Yeah,
needless to say, that didn't happen. So looks like it's gonna be really interesting. That's at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Wednesday, we've got Campfire Confessions, Christine Oshu at 6 p.m. She's gonna share her personal journey from log rolling championship to author.
And there will be wine and appetizers.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd point that out.
So, and books are available for sale and profits are donated to the Hayward Library Foundation. Then Tuesday, July 26th at 6 p.m., if anybody's interested in tall ships, our own Janet Rowney, she's a former deckhand educator of the SV Dennis Sullivan, and I guess it's out of commission now for one reason or another. She's going to talk about the life and work on a tall ship, and if anyone's interested in going up to the Tall Ship Festival, she can give you ins and outs on it. So that's the 26th at 6 p.m. The other thing, our family activities are still going on. That's Thursdays. We've now switched to, for this month, an evening program so we can get the families who work and the fathers can come along, or just the mothers or caregivers too. July 14th, we've got the North Lakeland Discovering Center talking about exploring oceans. It's presented by Lucia Johnson. And we all know oceans are important, and the kids are going to be able to learn about the layers of the ocean, how salt water makes things float. They're going to play a game and check out some real ocean critter artifacts. So then on July 21st, again at 6 p.m., we're having a magician. He's presenting pirates. He's a great magician. I've had him here before. I mean, if you watch America's Got Talent and you watch for the magicians like I do, come on over and watch him. I think him and his wife were on America's Got Talent, I believe, at one time. I've had a few entertainers that have been. I think he has been too. Then July 28th, I'm at 6 p.m. You can dive into Wisconsin shipwrecks, and it's presented by maritime archaeologist Jordan Cheshleshik Gibson, and he's with the Wisconsin Historical Society, archaeologist and longtime researcher of the Great Lakes shipwrecks. Even though it's geared toward children, he's going to have some things about scuba diving, shipwrecks, some hands-on activities. I'm encouraging adults to come too, to learn about the shipwrecks. He is going to gear his presentation to the audience. So hands-on activities about ship and traversing the Great Lakes. So come on over to the library for that. Over the years, we fostered a relationship with the Cable Natural History Museum, and we're having them back again in July this whole month. It's a class called Junior Naturalists, which they have up in Cable, but now they do want to get the Hayward market. That's 10 a.m. to noon. It's a drop-off program for children entering K through 6th grade. They have games, art, outdoor exploration. This week it's water everywhere. The following is aware like a bear. Then they have insect investigation. So we had a really good turnout this past week of 24.
And I think parents especially like this one because they can drop their kids off.
And maybe, yeah, and
Do a
maybe
little
buy one
shopping
thing
or
at
whatever.
Walmart. And
Yeah. Oh,
so, yeah, so they really do like that better. We used to have it in August, and I think August here is a different, yeah, exactly. It's not, they're not geared toward anything like this. And of course, we have a new story walk book every week. I still have to put the new one up. This week it's Octopus's Garden. I think you might recognize that, Ringo Starr. So they get to read a book that he wrote. And we've got tons of activities going on inside, outside the library. And especially for the summertime, it's important now. We left our Wi-Fi on our parking lot, kind of like we'll leave the lights on for. So, and the patio area, so they have a couple outlets there if they need outlets. People do park there. I've seen them at all hours of the day and night. And of course, our digital media, Libby, or as some might know it, Overdrive, is also in full swing. And I think part of that is because everyone's buying new cars without CD players is one. but they also like the convenience of having the books. When they travel, they don't have to carry a 10-pound book. Any questions?
Good. Thanks, Ann. So, any other questions? No? Let's go on then to, there was a written report from Winter, from Donna. And I think basically she's indicated that they have now completed their finance for their basement problems with a zero interest loan through Northwest Regional Planning, which is neat to know. So if not, let's move on then to what? Motorized trail. Don, who's going to speak?
Well, I was going to give a report on, the heavy ATV use and the trail counters and everything. But I thought I would change it up a little bit and let you know some of the things that I do. So I ride a lot. When I first moved to Hayward, I bought skis and I skied. I'll never be in the Berkey, but I enjoyed that. I bought a mountain bike. I was proud of the fact that I progressed to the intermediate trails without killing myself. But then I bought a snowmobile and then a UTV, and those are my passion. So I became pretty involved in this. It's one of those sports where you can be as social as you want. So you're out on the trail, you run into a lot of people. I talk to an enormous amount of people. This year alone, I've got over 8,000 miles on my UTV. So I ride a lot. I ride 3 or 4 days a week within Sawyer County, and I also go into all the surrounding counties. The one takeaway from talking to people, the biggest complaint we have here in Sawyer County, which is going to hurt us, is access from lodging, from wherever they're staying, from their residents' homes to the trail systems. Of course, you can trailer and park at trailheads, but what's been going on with that is I'm getting reports of vehicles being broken into while they're out riding. Recently up on the Dead Horse Trail in Ashland County, I had a friend park there to ride the upper trail. Somebody cut off their catalytic converter, and things like that happen at boat launches as well, from what I understand. But so people, it's not desirable to do that. So in light of a new ordinance that's being, an ATV ordinance that's being presented at the Public Works meeting, if that passes this coming Wednesday without modifications, it's going to further hurt our efforts to try and get access for all these people. So we collectively, the Alliance, we're asking for support in delaying that and possibly modifying that ordinance and having some input. And I believe that's why Don came here to speak. Over.
For those that don't know me here, I'm Don Rotek, with the Sawyer County Snowmobile ATV Alliance. I've kind of backed off a little bit on it. We started a government committee there to do more of the stuff that I've been doing for the last 20 years with the Alliance. But it's important, I just want to set some stuff down here. ATVs and UTVs have grown tremendously here lately. It's a huge tourism here. We saw it with the pandemic here now. Sawyer County, we figured we'd be going downhill during the pandemic. Actually, sales taxes increased tremendously because of our woods and water. People coming here and enjoying our North Woods. So ATVs have an important part in that. Along with our silent sports, a lot of people come here. We have Campbell, we have the Berkey. People enjoying our great trail systems out there. I look at Main Street. Every time I drive up Main Street, I'm amazed that there's several ATVs parked on Main Street. They're downtown spending money here in our area. Sawyer County is known as a premier destination for all your recreation activities, silent sports and motorized ATVs and that. And we just want to make sure we stay ahead of the program on this. A lot of other counties are trying to catch up to where we're at. What's amazing when I look down at Wisconsin Dells that has all they have to offer with their water parks and everything else, they've opened all their city streets up to ATVs. Their main drag going in front of the water parks now and their main street are open for ATVs. You know, why is that? Because they see the importance of trying to get the ATVs. My concern here is I don't want other counties to surpass us in the ATV thing. To me, I think Sawyer County is one of the top 5 counties in the state for ATV recreation here. And everybody else would like to be in that top 5. And that's where it's important. And as Kathy alluded to, you know, there's some concern about Wednesday night's meeting here and what's going on with Public Works there.
Can you express what the ordinance is that, I'm assuming people want to shut things down and pull it back, right?
No, not shut things down, but just changing what's gonna be allowed for ATVs, you know, the process for opening up roads for ATVs.
So hindering the expansion of it or hindering some of what's going on now?
It's a timing. Right now, there is only a resolution that was done back in 2018, I believe, that addresses ATV routes on county highways. They are turning that into an ordinance, and so they have a draft and a couple of the key points we are concerned about. The biggest one is probably that now we will only be able to request a new route on a county highway 1 time per year. I'm concerned about our taxpayer residents who want access. And when I have to tell them when they come to our committee and want a route open, we can't help you for another year. That to me is just not promoting, you know, that taxpayers, they're paying taxes. They want access. They want to see if they can get a route open. Historically, I think we only open like 3 routes a year or something. Is that what it turns out into? So it's not like we're overwhelming the highway department or public works with this. And we don't understand why they only are going to allow us to do it 1 time per year. There's other provisions that we have concerns about.
Is this a resolution that's who instigated the resolution?
Well, it happened at the last Public Works meeting, and it was brought to their attention that it was a resolution and not an ordinance, and so they wanted to proceed with having an ordinance, which is, you know, from our standpoint is fine. But we are named several times as being responsible parties in this ordinance, and we were not consulted and offered to give our input, and we would like that.
But this is Public Works that's instigating,
Correct.
it's not a public.
No,
request for this.
it's Public Works,
Public Works.
right?
And they want to only do it once a year because,
I don't know the reason yet. We haven't found the reason why they only want to do it once a year, but it's going to really hinder our attempts at opening routes for our residents and for visitors.
It's
Andy,
just
what do
been
you
the
know
last
about this?
week that we've gotten information on this. No one actually read this, so we're still need to contact our board members and Andy and some of the other Gary Gethard and find out exactly why this was written that way.
Yeah.
So let's ask Andy what he knows about the proposal and who's pushing
Yeah,
it.
we discussed it last month's Public Works meeting. There's been a number of ATV routes opened up over the years under this resolution. There's no central ordinance for the county to kind of cover all of the routes. And so there's been questions on process and whatnot. Fairly common for counties to have an ordinance. So the committee discussed having an ordinance drafted. It's not intended to go through and be approved this month. I think when I talked to Gary a couple weeks ago, we had the draft. It was to get it out to the LCO, to the Trail Alliance to have time to kind of get the feedback you're talking about right now.
Okay.
So,
We're gonna be giving you feedback on this.
so when an ATV trail is approved, the 1 a year, whatever it
this is
is,
not about trails, this is about roads. About ATVs on county roads.
on the roads themselves,
Yes,
and what roads they can go on, which roads they can't.
correct.
And that ties into the access piece, or is that a separate?
Exactly. I mean, not only there's 2 components to that. It provides access to businesses that, and also residential access. I mean, typically you're hitting a county road somewhere, even for a short stretch.
Yeah, and I don't want to dominate the conversation here, but like, you know, certainly driving, a lot of it depends on to me, is that when I'm driving around is, I guess how long they're on, like a 55 mile an hour highway, is that the issue? Or Well, like, I've seen them on Highway 77, State Road. And they seem like they're on.
They shouldn't be.
Okay, and I'm like, whoa, you're coming up on it. Okay, so that's already prohibited. You're not.
State
You don't-
highways, they can't.
You know, the city of Hayward now, Highway 27 is open, so they can legally be on that. They can come in on Highway B and 27 to get in Hayward. But just traveling down the state highways like 77 and 63, no. they're
That's
not.
already prohibited. Okay.
Yes. But the
I'm with
county
you.
highways, the county has opened up, better than half the county highways are open for ATVs right now. But there's a process that we've done over the past 20 years now, of opening up roads. And they're changing that right now.
Okay.
And it's important. Things have changed a little bit with the ATV recreation. You know, snowmobile hasn't changed much in the last 50 years. You know, people just want a nice smooth trail and a place to go to food, gas, and lodging. ATVs have changed tremendously. So we have over 200 miles of trails, but there's a lot of people that don't even go trail riding. They just want to go down to their neighbor's house and visit with them.
It's Northwoods golf cart.
Yep, it is. And there's a lot of restrictions on that, you know, people can come up here to our great Northwest and enjoy our area, but the locals can't. They have to trailer it because that road in front of them is not open for ATV use. And so that's a big concern, both in the county and several townships. You know, several townships are opening up all the roads. Several counties have opened up all their county highways to ATV use. So it's going there. And as an alliance, we have a great concern because of where the economy is going right now.
Yeah.
We're very fearful on that, and our price of gas going up. So plug for BCD, you know, and the alliance, we need the support from the county because times could get rough here in the future. So,
you guys will be there on Wednesday.
oh yes.
Yeah, okay. But we'll bring that up next month also here. But thanks for your input and report.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any comments before we move on? I passed out a letter from Ben Pop on the Brookie. They're now north of 6,000 registrations, going on 77,000 registrations. The bleachers are completed, and they are now at the Brookie staff working with LCO on their trails for the old ski trails and the old bike trails and running trails, which haven't been used for years. But hopefully by the end of the summer, those will be open again. So that's kind of all that's new there. So let's move on then to what's 17 is a review of board policy and procedural manual. Sherry, what is that? Andy.
That is part of the updates to the county board policies procedures manual.
Okay,
In there's a section in the back that outlines the responsibilities of each committee.
okay,
And some of the committees had roles and responsibilities that are identified,
okay,
like this one.
okay,
Some did not.
okay.
But it was just a chance if you wanted to review those and make any changes to do that. Otherwise, I think this committee was pretty well outlined already.
Okay. Well, let's put that on the agenda for next month. Let's be sure we all have a copy of the procedural manual so we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and then we copied in the agenda here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. So is that okay?
Yeah, it's in there, the section's right in there.
Okay. All right, so let's do that next month. If there's any comments, we'll address them then. Okay. Anyway, before you, I'm sorry.
I have the public comment form. So
Okay, you're on.
thank you. Linda Zilmer, 902 Holly Hill Lane, Birchwood, Wisconsin, Edgewater property owner. On the roles and responsibilities, I think there are several items that probably should be updated. As I recall how that was drafted, it was maybe one or two meetings, not a lot of discussion, but to just get a mission and some things identified, clarification between overlap of jurisdiction between committees. Some of the entities that aren't mentioned are PACE, Broadband Forward, and then the Regional Economic Development Corporation that Sawyer County belongs to. Those should be added. And then just for context for the newer members of the administration and the county board, prior to 2005, there was no Economic Development Committee. There was an Agricultural and Extension Committee. And in 2005, there was a Sawyer County Economic Summit. And if you go out on the website, Mike has posted it out there under historical, a lot of the documents from the Economic Summit that was held in 2005. And it was a Vision 2025 project. What would Sawyer County look like 25 years from now? And here we are in 2023 and not much has been done. But maybe look at that for some briefing on it. And so as the committees, just this committee and other committees revisit their mission, I would like to have agriculture put back in to have a home. Right now, I think the FSA rep is on the Land, Water, Forestry Committee. Agriculture has primarily been dropped, and I think there's a membership for this committee and that committee to have two of the Sawyer County board members serve on both committees, and I think that helps foster the agricultural component as well as others. Thank you.
Andy, before you arrived, we took item number 8, moved it to the end of the agenda. You want to address that, broadband?
Sure, not ton, I guess I would say. It's in the last month. I've made contact with a few of the broadband providers just to catch up on projects. I think everybody saw the article, or should have seen the article in the paper last week, where all but one of the broadband applications that was submitted to the PSC in the last round, which the county provided some financial assistance to, have been awarded. And I don't have my spreadsheet, but it's in the neighborhood of $20 million worth of projects that are going to be funded. So Nevada, Mosaic, Bevcom were the ones the county participated in. Those were all funded. One of Nevada's other applications was not. And then the town of Draper worked with LTV and they got their project.
No Century Tower.
No, Brightspeed, as they're going to call themselves, for broadband. Did submit an application down in the town of Winter. They did not work with the county at all. They did not get funded.
Is anything, I don't know if we've talked about it here, I hear, sometimes we rarely hear it all, but the Starlink, is that something that should be, that seems to get more, I'm hearing more and more of that.
Yep.
That possibly that's the future anyways. And is that helpful, harder for the county, or is it an option?
Well, we've talked about it as an option for some of our own facilities. It's really, it's not an effort, it's satellite.
Yeah.
So if you're out, to me, if you look where Mosaic, Bevcom, Novato, they're covering the kind of down the right of ways. And if you're within striking distance of that, you'll get connected. But I would say if you're off the end of a town road by yourself on your own 40 or 80, that might be a little longer before you get connected by fiber.
Yeah.
At this point, fiber is still the kind of premium. That's where you want to get.
So the hard thing would be, how do you fund it if it's an individual house that has a satellite there?
Yeah.
So then it becomes, how do you facilitate?
That's probably your best bet. And people I know that have it, pretty happy with it. Although it sounds like the upfront cost, people got it early with pilots.
Yeah, it's a long wait time too.
There's a wait time and it's a little bit higher initiation fee or upfront cost than it was before. So there's Starlink and now there's Starlink RV or mobile
So
service.
in general, are we pleased with the money that's going out and the company's responsiveness to doing the job?
Good question. I would only give an opinion that to me, the ones we're working with are local. To me, you're better off with companies you can go drive to their office and talk
Sure.
to people. I think you get it better, but it's still pretty early. The county funded a Mosaic project last year down in the southwest part of the county. I think that's just being constructed now. The projects that are just funded, their timelines are out in the 2024 to get those done. So it'll still be a little while.
Yeah, I think it's, and I hear it a lot around the state from a rural perspective. It's a rural issue. And you hear all this money that's going out from Madison, let's say. The companies take the money.
Yep.
But you still hear the same beefs.
Still,
Week after week, month after month, year after year. And so it's like the money's going out, but and that's, that's not Sawyer. How do we get that? And that's not only Sawyer County's issue. It's probably every rural county in the state.
there's going to be this last round of broadband awards with there'll be a story to tell afterwards. Because you have like projects like we had, then you have the LTD, which we go to a rabbit hole talking about the RDOF funds, and LTD bought a lot of those from the federal government a few years ago, and they bought some of those rural areas. And everybody's waiting to see if they're gonna be able to do what they said they can do, because they'll cover LTD, you asked about CenturyLink. Territories that LTD bought, a lot of them are CenturyLink areas, rural areas. So they haven't done much yet, though. They haven't actually done anything. They haven't even secured the money they've been awarded at the federal government. So if they can do what they say they'll do, they'll solve a lot of the problems. And then the other thing that happened in the last round of broadband grants was a company called Bug Tussle was going around to counties a year and a half ago, proposing to build fixed wireless, build a fiber link or fiber loop through your county, and then put up fixed wireless towers and people connect wirelessly. They didn't want the county to put money into it. They wanted to use the county's borrowing capacity. And I'm sure they submitted their proposal to somebody here in Surrey County. I don't know what the number was, but most counties it was like, just say average $15 million. If you'll let us use your borrowing capacity, we'll use that money, we'll build this. If they were to, it's like guaranteeing it, the county was guaranteeing it. So if they failed, the county would have to repay the 50 million. And then in exchange for using the county's borrowing capacity, I think the counties would get like 1% return, like a fee. So I say, I don't remember how many counties, we'll say 10 counties. Last round of broadband grants, they were in there for the Bug Tussle projects. So that's kind of the other big development in the rural area.
I guess we would look to you for what, I mean, I don't know if we'll be here a year from now, it's for sure, because to my perspective is, I'll say Madison, the federal government thinks they've solved this problem and they're far from solving it.
No, far from solving.
And so I don't know, if a tree falls in forest, you don't hear it, there's
Well,
I think it's fine.
State's not running out of money, but they've been using, this last round was huge. It was hundreds of millions of dollars. It was ARPA money, so they don't have any more ARPA money. So kind of my first priority actually, talking to GIS is to do an overlay of the county to see, CenturyLink's already done a lot of updates in the city of Hayward area. Now with these other broadband projects, what have we actually covered? And then we'll see where the gaps are.
Excellent, thanks.
What does it look like we're going to be covered when all this money's spent?
No. The current round of broadband projects, if you go by their applications, covers about 8,000. There's not even, excuse me, less than that. 6,000 residential units. So there's still quite a bit to go.
So what's our future plan for the broadband?
Hopefully these other, John hit it on the head, CenturyLink territory is the toughest, but we have Bevcom, Novato, and Mosaic already moving up. I think you can see them continue to
Do that.
expand out from where they're putting their infrastructure in place. The biggest thing is once these companies come in and do these big projects, they're building a fiber network that can continue to grow.
Oh.
But the more rural you get, the less return on investment there is for them. So that's kind of.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. I mean, you hear the example of when electric first became, it's probably not economical at the time in the rural areas. The post office, you might have a post office in a small towns, right? The railroads, I mean, I don't know, that's the talk I hear, but maybe it was the same waiting time back then too, I don't know, but I understand the rural piece of it, I guess, if we're here 3 years from now, there's really a problem and we have to figure it out, I guess, and I understand, we have to be patient to a certain degree.
Yeah, and now with all these projects, the patience part is there's just so many companies out there that are burying fiber. And fiber itself is a little harder to get because there's so much money being put into that area. So that's part of the reason it's going to take a while just to get it all done.
But we'll keep the broadband issue on each month, so for an update, Andy. Good. Okay, anybody else have any questions? Sherry, Brian, or Ann? Fine. Okay, let's move on to the Historical Society. Anybody here from the Historical Society?
I think you might have to use your influence on your daughter-in-law.
Okay, all right.
I don't know the president, this time around of the Historical Society, and I would think he'd be the natural person to come in. But
Yeah.
I talked to Donna and I talked with Karen at the
I don't know,
last.
what do they have funds? Maybe they have, maybe they don't need any county input. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think they have all the funding maybe.
No.
So maybe between the two of us, we could.
Well, Brian, are you still on? Is he?
Yeah.
What luck has the LCO Historical Society had with Hayward's Historical Society? Did you guys reach out to them at one time or?
I thought Jim Slender was. I know he always kept naming me as the one that should be the point of contact, but I really haven't. That doesn't mean I wouldn't. I just don't know. I can talk to Slender about it and see what he said, what kind of interactions he's had in the past.
Okay, yeah, if you'll do that, Brian, and I'll get a hold of.
I was gonna say, Brian, I just happened to run into Nancy Cooper yesterday.
Huh?
And I know that she is part of the Historical Society there. And I don't know who's the head of it, but Nancy seems to be really knowledgeable. Maybe she's someone you could reach out to in addition to Mr. Slender.
Okay.
Okay, we'll keep it on the agenda. We'll see what happens. Okay, moving on to future items. Anybody else have any things they want to leave on the agenda? I was gonna mention one is we used to have John Saunders appear here and report on bicycle trails. And since he's left, no one's doing it. I don't know who's in charge of bike trails in Sawyer County. Is anybody?
Jerry.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I was, yeah.
Those people are very active with bicycle groups.
Is there an organization that represents them or?
Is it still Canva?
Canva does somewhat, yeah. And Canva's got a new director right now, just in the last couple of weeks.
Right, I saw that.
And
Oh, yeah,
maybe
that's,
she would be interested in.
Well, we had, for example, we had road maps or bike trails, which was really helpful. I don't know, are there any now
We still
available?
have those. We still have those.
Are they dated? Are they ready to be updated or?
No, because they're just showing you roads that are less traffic.
Okay,
So yeah, those don't really change.
so who's been responsible for that?
Well, we've been, Hayward Lakes has been paying part of it. It's like the chambers, Winter Chamber, Hayward
Yeah.
Chamber. So,
And who pays the rest of it?
The county did put in some money into the
The
lake.
first one, I think, but we're in addition for now.
Right,
But I think that's when John was still here, John Saunders.
yeah, there's been no representation since John.
Yeah.
John.
No, but we still have a good inventory.
Okay, I'll see if I can check out and see what's happening. We can find someone. Okay, anything else anybody wants to mention today?
That's Roberta.
If not, thank you all for coming. See you next month.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, take care. Nice to have the LCO trails open again.